What it doing? We are out here today with a donation request. This time we are checking out a new artist to me, Stormtrippy, and their song "Our Voyage." Let's go ahead, shut up, and turn it up. Okay, first off, wow, there's so much movement so early in the song, right? Love what you got going on with the low end, right? The brass kind of carrying that foundation, but you had a little unorthodox kind of melody in there, which I believe was played by the horns. It didn't see when it comes to like orchestration, especially if we're doing something that's like more epic. You know what I mean, or adventurous. Sometimes it's a little difficult to stray away from the tropes. You know what I mean? Because this type of music has been around for ages, right? And trying to innovate in this type of space can be very, very difficult, especially like experienced listeners, like people who may not produce it, but they listen to it. They can say, oh, I heard that from this place. I heard that from this place. That little unorthodox that you had going on there, now that was unique. You got brass peeking out. Woodwinds, nice texture. There was even breakup in that. You got like static repeating rhythm that's going on, right? You still want to make sure there's some nice variation in there, whether it be in the velocity, whether it be in the notes that it's playing, or sometimes it's in the simple articulation. The space that you left, that was actually amazing, right? How you kind of had the pedal note that was going on in the background to make sure that we're keeping rhythm. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was kind of like just the plucking on the strings, but that percussive element you had in there, that was refreshing. How you kind of just took everything back. That gives us listeners a nice little refresher, right? And then the I don't know what you're using for the four on the floor here. The sound selection is also very, very more important. Now, I don't think this is more of a fusion. I don't think this is fusion. I think this is pure orchestration. Like, I don't think there's any type of like, what do you want to call it? Synthesizer in here, maybe. But your choice for what you're using with it's got a nice little high end to it as well to make sure it's. I don't know how it's like an air kick. It's the best way I can explain it. Boom, boom. Horns going crazy. I'm sitting there thinking about the title of this, what it called, Our Voyage. And then to think of this song is kind of like a complete story of somebody that's going through the voyage. The brass, just the way that's kind of playing, has a nice little swell. That swellness. The low end's there, but really the timbre of it's kind of just really peeking through the whole entire mix. Very carbonated, very, very raspy, if you will. I mean, it's almost as if it's almost as if that low end, because we're hearing a lot more high end, not high end but mid end. We're hearing a lot more textures and stuff that's kind of floating in that mid range, high range space and everything that kind of give us the sense of the funness. Now there is some situations in here where it almost kind of sounds like there's some turmoil that's going in throughout this entire voyage, but most of it's pretty much adventurous, pretty much fun, right? But still, it's not without its turmoil. And that's when we start hearing that brass really start coming up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having fun, but danger is always looming. Choir. Okay, introduces some keys. Bringing back hold on before this ends. So we're bringing back kind of like all the leads, right? Probably not all of them, but bringing back all the motifs, which is, what is that? Like a repeating idea throughout the entire thing. Not really too sure. I'm not really an orchestration kind of like master and everything. I mostly just speak to what I can hear and try to make sense of it. You know what I mean? But we're bringing back a whole lot of leads. And I think when it comes to orchestration, I think the first part outside of writing for it would be the mixing. That's got to be one of the most difficult parts, because you got an instrument for every range, but whenever you want something to stand out, when you want something to stand out, you got to let it stand out, but something also has to take a step back. So if you can get to the point to where you can have a magical of sorts, where you have a bunch of different parts that's playing, they need to be able to occupy their own space, and the melodies need to work together. And if you listen to this, right, this last part, is we're hearing a lot of melodies. If you just focus on a single thing, you can hear that. Take your focus away on another lead, you can hear that. And that's a testament to a good mix. I would like to think so. Yeah. Some panning helps too. Okay, so that bum, 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 bum. I like that. That little part right there indicates that the journey continues. The next thing is on the horizon, right? It's like we're in this voyage, and then all of a sudden there's just this huge tsunami that's coming, and then we continue with that. Was a nice way of ending it, right? Voyage is a continuous thing. Okay, all right, Stormtrippy, I like what you've done here. Like, so I'm not necessarily the best when it comes to breaking down orchestration, but I do like to hear well composed stuff. So yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this down in the comments. Dave's out.